everyone. Welcome to Performacast Season 2, Episode 11. Today we've got a very special guest talking about epigenetics, DNA testing, how you can improve longevity. And Susan Robbins, and we'll come to her in a moment. But I just want you to just be aware to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There'll be amazing giveaways down the line, and there's going to be amazing other guest speakers. We've had fantastic guest speakers, and yeah, you don't have to miss out a single thing. Just hit the subscribe button, and you can follow me on Instagram as well. So I would like to welcome Susan Roberts. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you? And it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Great to have you on. So Susan, so epigenetics, you're an epigenetics coach, you do DNA testing, you do a lot of different things to optimize the human body. And in terms of longevity, I want to hear from you, what you do exactly.
Sure, thank you. So I'm an epigenetic human performance coach, and I'm pretty unique in what I do, especially over here in the US. So I'm certified to do DNA testing. I have my own test kit, and I will tell you people, like, don't go for the cheapest. It really makes a difference on the kit, the company you use. So that being said, I do DNA testing, and then I use an AI-based platform that's based out of Australia called PH360 through Precision Health Alliance, and it's the Shea app. So it's online in an app, and that one looks at how you're formed in the womb and the predominant hormones that drive you, it's crucial as far as precision health goes. So I actually combine the two of those. You have your DNA, that's your blueprint. Okay. So mom and dad give you this DNA, you're born with it, your DNA does not change. Where epigenetics comes in is how your lifestyle and environment affect how that DNA actually expresses. So people look like I'm increased risk for Alzheimer's and cardiovascular through genes called ApoE genes. I'm an ApoE4. And you would look at that and go, oh my God, I'm going to get Alzheimer's. No, it doesn't mean you're going to get Alzheimer's or cardiovascular disease. This is where your lifestyle and environment come in to work with the expression of those genetics. And that's where you have genomics is working with that to tweak, dial up good genes, dial back the crappy genes. We all have good, we all have crap. So that's the DNA part. And then the PH360 platform I use, the AI-based platform that looks at how you're formed in the womb, that is like your user manual. So you have your epigenetics come in that affect the genetic expression, and the PH360 says, this is how everything is currently expressing for the good or the bad. And so 15 layers of science go into this, and it kicks out a profile that is unique to anybody else, no one else in the world but you. And total precision as far as the list of foods you should be eating according to nutrient density to dial back the things that are not going well and to really optimize and bring your body back into health. The types of workouts, the timing of chronobiology is something nobody talks about when it comes to longevity. And that is doing what you're designed to do at the times you're designed to do it. So you could be doing, quote, doing all the things, but not doing them at the right time, which can throw off hormones, and that actually will affect longevity. So I combine the two, having your blueprint, your user manual, put it all together, and then you have the human component come in that understands the client usually better than the client understands themselves, because people really don't know who they are or how they're designed. So I put it all together, bring my coaching into it, and tweak things as necessary just to get truly precision recommendations. And that's how I work with my clients to optimize their overall health, quality of life, which of course increases longevity. Make sure they're doing the right supplements instead of, everybody's got their supplement graveyard. I say, why are you taking this? Well, I don't know. Someone said it was good for something. Do you actually need it? Is it a benefit for you? Because some things may be more detrimental. And so that's what I do. It sounds a little complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. And then I can also do biological age testing through True Diagnostics. I did interpretations for them for 1.5 years with people all over the world interpreting their longevity or their epigenetic age and the factors going into that. So that's another one that's an add-on that can come in to see how everything's actually working.
Wow,
So,
there's a lot of things to unpack here.
I'll
I've
take
got
a
a few
breath now.
questions. So we want to go to you. What do? We go for DNA tests and then through the general through you or through the through where?
Yeah, it's really simple. So if I can do DNA testing, just I say DNA one and done. And that's where I send you the kit. It's my kit. I have a fantastic research and development team. I mean, 600,000 to 800,000 SNPs are tested, and we're only pulling the ones that we can work with that are truly impactful with lifestyle. Because people, if you're looking at, I gotta hear people say, well, I did 23andMe. That's ancestry based. And I can look at those reports, but there's so much missing in there. That's just gold. That's missing. And so I can do the DNA testing on its own, but I do not coach solely on DNA anymore because it's not precise enough. So I can do DNA my 3 base panels, I have many panels you can choose from, but my 3 base that I found that work together the best are nutrition, micronutrients, and toxicants and inflammation. So if we have the nutrition is going to look at things like, and again, genetics, pure probabilities and propensities, right? We have control up to about 95% of how our DNA actually expresses. So you have control, people. So we, in the nutrition panel, you're going to see things like the ApoE genes, right? That's your early onset Alzheimer's, cardiovascular, insulin resistance genes, dopamine, which can really affect cravings, addictions, food addictions, all kinds of those genes there. And then in the micronutrients, we look at, again, propensities with all your vitamins and minerals, where there might be issues with conversions from inactive forms to active forms. And that's where we really see supplement-wise how you're looking. And then the toxicants and inflammation. As you know, Yossi, we are exposed to toxins everywhere. It's in our food, our air, our cleaning products, the things we put on us, in us. And so understanding how your systems, your detox systems are set up and how to optimize them is another gold, right? So I found that those 3 panels tend to really work the best together for a foundational panel. And so that's the DNA testing. It's a simple cheek swab. I send the kit out, you swab, I register it. You don't even have to do that. Pop it back in the mail. We're off and running. Results come back in 2 to 3 weeks. And then I meet with people and do a 90-minute review so they actually understand. And I want to know what's expressing, because you can look at DNA, but is it expressing? So that's why we go through everything. And then I'll recommend any further lab tests to further look at that. So that's how the DNA part works. But with my coaching, I will only coach combining the pH 360 with the DNA so that I have a complete profile on someone, and it takes out the guessing game. Again, it's basically your user manual of what your body's set up to do and what's happening with it and what needs to happen, and looking at timing of everything. Because again, and that's the one thing I really want to talk about here is the chronobiology and timing, because people just don't realize how crucial that is with your overall health, quality of life, and longevity.
Yeah, amazing. So do you actually write a program for them, or do you just explain to them what they should be doing, or do you actually go further than that and say, this is exactly what you should be eating, how many times a day, exactly what you should be, what types of training you do?
Yep.
You do all of it.
It is so precise. I mean, the DNA is one thing because I really have to bring so much of me into that and work with them to find out what's expressing and what's not. What do we want to dial up? What do we see happening here that we want or don't want? And then with the pH 360 platform, again, this was a game changer for me because I thought I was doing all the right things. All this was a game changer. I have chronic Lyme disease, autoimmune. I'm a retired police officer, so I was stressed to the max for many years. CrossFitter, avid CrossFitter. thinking I was doing all the right things. I was CrossFitting at night after a 10-hour shift and doing CrossFit endurance at night. All this stress on the body. When I found these platforms, I realized that I was actually doing the opposite of what I was designed for. Now, is my body actually designed for CrossFit? 100%. There's 6 different health types within the PH360 platform. And my health type, we're your short, little muscular people. You see that populate the CrossFit gyms because we run on testosterone and adrenaline, and we're super competitive and athletic and just we love that competition and that drive. But I was doing it at night where my body should actually be coming down at night. So I'm stressing the body more and more and more at night. Couldn't sleep. When I found out I'm actually a morning person, through my PH360 platform, switched that over, and I became a new person. And I see so many people. I mean, you're going to have, I see people, other experts out here saying, get up first thing in the morning. Everybody needs to exercise first thing in the morning. Well, you have 2 out of the 6 health types where you put them in the morning to exercise. It is actually more detrimental to them, to their body type. They're tired through the rest of the day. They're your people that see the afternoon slumps. Switch them, because the profile will say these are the times. It will actually give you a schedule. These are the ideal times to work out for your body and why. These are the actual ideal times to eat. And then we work with the composition of the meals, but you have a whole list of foods that are ideal for you, specific to you, including recipes. And the only recipes that come up are the ones that are ideal for you at this time. So you have, like I said, this user manual that gives you everything, and I pull it all together, but it's so much information that it can be very overwhelming. So as a coach, I break that down, and we just work with different goals within these platforms every couple of weeks so that people aren't so overwhelmed, but can start implementing their priorities, because the 6 health types, there's 6 priorities, and they differ in order for each of the health types, if that makes sense. So mine is actually movement first, made for movement. And then number 2 is the food, because I have to fuel the movement. So I was also intermittent fasting for a year. It kept me tired and fat. I have to actually fuel more often because I burn so much. And again, these aren't things that you typically hear from experts out there. It's all intermittent fast, eat less, eat less. I have to eat a little bit smaller meals through the day to keep me going. And that's what keeps me lean and keeps my body going. Other types do well with intermittent fasting because they store more. So again, we're also individual. And when you can key in on these unique needs for each person, this is where you start to see people just blossom. And they understand themselves more. They understand why they are how they are. Why some say, I like a slow morning, and they feel guilty for it, but their body actually needs it. So, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot here, but it's really, again, all about just the individual and making sure that they're getting what they need in all aspects of their life.
Amazing, amazing stuff. But what made you decide to actually get tested and to have that personal change? Were you feeling sluggish? Were you having less energy? What exactly was it that you thought you were doing so many things right? But then when you got the DNA testing, it's like, whoa, hold on. I need to change a whole lot of things. What made you do that?
Yeah. And it was like, yes to all of that. So like I was, I just never felt good. And I felt like I was getting worse. And I found out it took 11 years to diagnose my Lyme disease. So it started out as cardiac, and then it went to all the joints. I got it twice. And we had no idea because it can mimic so many other things. So that's where I started dabbling as all this was happening, trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with me. I think I'm eating right and doing all the things, and I just wasn't. And I I hooked up with a great naturopathic physician back in 2010. And she started me down this road of looking at how food and lifestyle can make these differences for you. So as I started looking at things, I read about paleo, and I went paleo 2010. And this was like, this is amazing. I'm starting to feel better. I would feel better for a little bit, and then I would slump back down again. And the fatigue with Lyme disease is the most debilitating. And the joint pain. I have pictures of me going to CrossFit where I had that rock tape up the arms, down my legs. Like, it was crazy. My physical therapist couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And, just trying to put all these Band-Aids on things. And so long story short, I went into health coach school, holistic health coach school at Institute for Integrated Nutrition, IN. And I started seeing how lifestyle made a difference. And then I decided to retire early from law enforcement, and I just went into coaching full time. My shortest program was 6 months, 12 sessions, because you're like throwing the pasta at the wall to see what sticks, because you're having to play the guessing game, right? Let's eliminate all this. Let's do this and try to figure out what's happening here. So as I got more into this, I was still not feeling optimal as well. And I'm strict paleo at this time, autoimmune paleo, trying it all, would have benefits here and there, and then it would die down again. Sleep was terrible. So in 2019, I thought, there's so many health coaches out there. How do I set myself apart? And I don't believe that people should just feel okay. I think people should feel amazing, and I want to feel amazing because I'm very high performance. And so I started looking for what is that next level I could take myself to and clients to. And I was at the Paleo FX conference in Austin, Texas in 2019, April. And I came across a company at the time called Epigenetics, and they were DNA testing. And I was talking to them, and everything started making sense to me. And I thought, I need to try this. So I signed up, got my DNA tested, and I actually had a woman who was a toxin specialist. I had also had heavy metal issues at the time. And she looked at me because I went up to talk to her, and she looked at me. She said, "Oh, your methylation is terrible." And I didn't know what the hell methylation was at the time. And she said, "You need to work on your methylation. I can see it in your face, in your eyes." And I said, "I've got lead issues and all." And she said, "Don't do any chelation. Get your methylation under control. Do the DNA testing." I find out that I've variants in both of the main MTHFR genes that we test, and they are a big player with methylation. That was totally expressing. Found out that I was increased risk for the Alzheimer's and cardiovascular. One of the biggest things there is saturated fats, and another one is alcohol. I was a cop. Come on, I drank. I've never had a problem drinking alcohol. Again, in knowing that here I'm thinking I'm doing all the right things. I'm drinking wine, not a problem, and eating coconut oil every day, like spoonfuls of it, because it's supposed to be so good for you. And these are all things that are going to give me more of a possibility for my ApoE genes to express. So I actually quit drinking cold turkey. I stopped the coconut oil. I do very, very rarely. I'm all olive oil based, drop the saturated fats to very minimal now. Sugar, like, no. I don't do sugar because your high glycemic foods are another big trigger for those genes. So I had to do like a radical overhaul of even what I thought I was doing. And I said, I need to bring this to my people. So I brought the DNA in. And then in 2020, I found the PH360, and I was coached on that. And my coach said, like, and I was even after doing the DNA, was still carrying extra body fat. And I was still tired and not having good workouts. And first thing he said was, "Well, mate, when do you eat breakfast?" And I said, "Oh, no, after CrossFit, I intermittent fast." And he's like, "Nope, your body needs to fuel." And I said, "No, I'm good with twice a day." And he said, "You're not. Look at your profile." added in the smaller meal, like more, more frequent meals, and dropped 11 pounds that first month. And then was able to put on 3.5 pounds of lean body muscle after I dropped the body fat. And I said, I need to bring this to my people because I guinea pig everything. Started combining the two, and I'm seeing phenomenal changes in people with whether it's weight loss, labs, from everything from liver enzymes to blood sugars to your cardiovascular risk markers. The changes are phenomenal. And this is what I've been doing now for 4 years, putting these two together. So,
Wow.
but that's where it all started with me and why I got into it, because I was just feeling like crap.
Oh, amazing. So it seems like it's very individualistic. I guess like with the coconut oil, I know it's very healthy. I use it all the time. I cook with it. There's so many applications that I do. It's unbelievable. I find it amazing. But it's interesting to see that it's what's one good for you might not be good for the other person though. And that's where I guess where DNA
Amen.
boils it down in specifics to exactly, even though it could be healthy, your body is not so happy with that. Cut it out.
Yeah, or at least dial it back. Like I said,
Down,
it's
down.
not that I've never had coconut oil in the last 4 years. I have, but it is so rare now. I don't use the ghee like I used to go through jars of ghee. I have a jar of ghee that lasts me like 8 months. A small jar, little bits. I make sure I stay about 10 grams of saturated fat a day. But do I still have a ribeye that I want the fat on? Yep. I just do it every once in a while, once or twice a month, as opposed to a few times a week, or the bacon I was eating. I see a lot, and I tell people when I start working with them, and they're doing a lot of saturated fats and all. When you do the DNA, you can see how does your body actually process saturated fats, because some people process them quite well, and it's really not going to be an issue, and other people process them very poorly. So I say the more you understand about how your body is designed to work, then you know the right things to feed it. And like you said, was perfect. One person's food is another person's poison, right?
What do
And
you
so
think?
it's really the more you know.
And what do you think of about intuitive eating, listening to your body, or do you still recommend having the DNA test so you know exactly what's happening? Um, how do you feel about that intuitive eating and training?
Again, the way I feel, just knowing what I know, the more information you have, the more educated decision you're going to make moving forward. We just don't know what we don't know until we know it.
Yes.
And again, I was 12 years paleo. And now I've opened some things up, and I've been able to reintroduce legumes in on a minimal basis now, certain ones, and how to work with those the right way. And they're actually beneficial to me. Things I never thought I would bring back. And and with like something like the autoimmune paleo, lots of veggies, which is great, antioxidants, and vitamins and minerals, but it's also very high sugar diet. If you look, there's dates and everything, like all these dates, coconut sugar. And so people are eating all these quote treats, treats, treats. So just because you're doing an autoimmune paleo or a paleo diet, is that actually right? You still can be getting, even though it's not refined sugar's still sugar, right? That you're getting in there. And we know that high glycemic, they're saying Alzheimer's, they're calling like type 3 diabetes now, because it can make such a difference. And then you have alcohol in there, which is it's basically a neurotoxin. So it's, again, did I love my wine? Absolutely. But would I rather drink wine, or would I rather have a better brain not drinking it? Do you see does that make sense? Like, it's all about when you have the information, then you're able to better weigh a decision to get an outcome. Some people are going to be like me, like super high performance. I know what it's like to feel like crap. I live in Colorado. My mountains are my playground. I was up hiking over, 11,000 feet 2 days this week. I don't want to feel like crap. And other people have no problem. Like, oh, I don't mind not being high performance. I just want to feel better than I do now. So that's how you work with it. They might say, I'm willing to take this chance and have this drink or eat this saturated fat every day and see how it all shakes out. But your biohackers typically are going to say, I want to live a long time with a high quality of life. What do I need to do? And when they embrace it, or my clients that are just like, I've never felt this good, the decisions just become no-brainers. And this is just the lifestyle you live, is the lifestyle you're designed for.
And so, Maisie, what's the next goal? Like after, you've got your DNA testing, you got, you know what to do, you're following the program. What's the next goal? Is it to live a certain age? It's quality of life. What exactly do you advise clients to, attain?
I think it's all quality of life. We're not put on this earth to exist, right? Do you agree with that? We're here to live and live out loud, right? That's live big, enjoy life. Do you want to see your kids grow up? Do you want to see your grandchildren grow up, get married? Do you want to, like me, be able to go play in the mountains? I want to be hiking into my 80s and 90s, maybe not to the degree I do now, but I want to be moving and just be functional. And there's so many people out there that aren't functional. I mean, I saw someone having trouble getting down the grocery store aisle yesterday. And where were they? In the processed food section. And I just want to go up so badly and just say, please let me help you. You don't have to live like this, right? It's quality of life. So, and again, what someone feels is their high quality, maybe someone else's not. It really comes down to the individual and what they're looking for. My goal for my clients is for them to feel amazing mentally, physically, spiritually. Find that peace. For 3 of the 6 health types, the number 1 priority is mind. You have 2 that their mind and body just don't shut off, very overactive central nervous system. And then you have another one that can't focus. And then people think, oh, ADHD. No, this person just needs other outlets and needs to be able to focus. How important that mind is with all of this too. Stress is a huge driver, and people are used to living at this high level of stress that it becomes the norm. Stress is a major driver in epigenetic age. So again, do you want to live a life full of just stress, not being functional, not being able to do the things that you want to do, see your family grow? Or do you want to embrace all of this and then you live that lifestyle? And again, it's all just coming down to a lifestyle, and different people are going to have different degrees of where they want to be. But usually the goals that we have set are just really to have an amazing quality of life and health, because in this day and age, if you don't take control of your health, no one else is going to.
No, for sure. And what action steps say, you don't have the DNA testing is not available for them for some reason, or they just can't get to it? What advice would you have for them?
So I think for so many people, when we go through and we do the coaching program and they're doing the PH 360 and they look at the timing of things, and I say, okay, so you actually need to have a very slow start to the day, not up at 4 a.m., stressing the body more when it needs to be still resting and be balls to the wall in the morning. And they say, you know what? I have naturally felt like I needed a slower start to the morning, but everybody says you need to get up and make a productive day. But for some people, their day is productive starting out very slowly and allowing themselves to gain that energy through the day. So listen to your intuition. The body tells us, the body gives us signals. If you're doing things and you're still not right, something is still off, pay attention to that. If you're waking up in the morning and you're hitting that alarm going, I just cannot, I don't want to work out. But in the afternoon, you feel like I could work out, swap it and see if that works better. If you're intermittent fasting and you're staying overweight and tired, but also it's the food you're putting in too, because I've seen people say, well, I'm only eating twice a day, but they're eating crap those 2 times a day, right? So, but if you feel like you're eating the right things, look at the timing. Maybe you do better eating less. So again, we're all different, but just tune in, start listening to the signals your body gives. If you're drinking and alcohol is one of the worst things for sleep. If you're telling me you've got sleep issues and you're having a glass of wine every night, stop the wine. Get your sleep cycles in order. So really, again, our body gives us signals. Start paying attention. Dial in to what you're feeling.
Some really good advice, because as you say, health is your wealth. At the end of the day, like, you can have all the money in the world, and if you're sick in bed and you can't move in pain, then what's good good is that money? And you can't go experience hiking and being with your grandkids or kids, whatever the case is. What good is that? So,
Exactly.
So where
Yeah.
could people find you to have a DNA testing? How could they find you?
Sure. To my consults are free, because I'll have people reach out and go, I want to do DNA, and then we talk, and they actually, what they're looking for is more of the coaching program, or they might just want DNA. And I've done families DNA. I have discounts working with couples. I love working with couples. So you can reach out to me. My website, my business is actually called Healthy Awakening. Awakening, no S on the end. So you get one awakening, I say. So it's healthyawakening.co. If you type in .com, it will not work. So .co, healthyawakening.co. All my information to get in touch with me there. My consults are completely free. This is a conversation about what you're looking to accomplish and if we're fit to work together. Because I invest in my people. My people get my number. They can contact me in between sessions anytime. So there has to be a good fit on both ends to where they're invested as well as I am invested. I also have a podcast, and we're about the same amount of episodes in, brother. So mine's also new. So you have to come in and talk about what you do on my
Definitely.
podcast.
Of course.
All lifestyle.
Not even a question. I'm in.
I would love that. And it's called Everyday Epigenetics, Raw, Real, Relatable. It's on my website. And I also have, different guests on dealing with lifestyle. So I'd love to have you come on. And let's see, I'm on Instagram as Susan Robbins _epigenetics coach. Epigenetic coach. Sorry, there was no S on there either. And yeah, so look me up. You can email me through my website if you'd like to set up a consult. And again, I can work with anybody anywhere in the world. I'm all virtual, all Zoom based.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. Really amazing information out there. Very eye-opening what you can do. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I just want to remind you, please hit the subscribe button. There will be amazing giveaways, and we've had and have fantastic guests, and we still have fantastic guests. So thank you for coming on the show again.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.